public schools. They spend a whole lot of time on that modern math and not enough on the golden rule. 'Cause that wife of mine learned to count all right. She subtracted my money from me. She took little Johnny and all I own. There's nothing left but me. Now, honey, 6 minus 2 leaves 4, and 5 minus 2 leaves 3. 4 minus 2 still leaves 2, but 3 minus 2 leaves blue. 3 minus 2 leaves blue.
I've got a lot in common with several million people in this world. We all love the Grand Ole Opry and that man from Maynardville, Tennessee. He's the king of country music. He has held that title through the years with pride. Long live Roy Acuff, who's devoted to his country music life. In our country music business, he's the greatest one to come on down the pike. But he's always stayed right down to earth and prefers to be a plain old country boy. Some call him Mr. Acuff, some even call him Mr. Tennessee. But to me he's country music, and I'm always proud to call him my friend Roy. Oh, he'd rather sit around and play his fiddle for a bunch of his old friends than to mix and mingle with all the VIPs that he's met in his life. That's the reason for his greatness. He has always been just one of the boys. He's the king of country music, and Roy Acuff is a prince of a guy. He's loyal to his people. Shot Jackson and Oz will tell you so. He's really quite the showman with his fiddle and his little red yo-yo. One reason for his greatness, he has always been just one of the boys. And a friend of country music is surely bound to be a friend of Roy. Long live Roy Acuff and all of the Smoky Mountain Boys.
I'm going back to Louisiana, the state I'm fondest of. Back to Louisiana, that's where I lost my love. Back to the girl of many dreams with the bayou in her blood. Back to Louisiana, the state I'm fondest of. When I first met my Cajun girl, she told me she'd be true. But then she met this stranger with those baby eyes of blue. He took her by his side and she seemed so satisfied, until that day he left and she was through. I'm going back to Louisiana, the state I'm fondest of. Back to Louisiana, that's where I lost my love. Back to the girl of many dreams with the bayou in her blood. Back to Louisiana, the state I'm fondest of. finally got my Cajun girl, and we're both doing well. And there's no one can tell me this is heaven or it's hell. Since then we've got 6 children, and they all look so grand. And I know I'll never leave this place, my Louisiana land. I'm going back to Louisiana, the state I'm fondest of. Back to Louisiana, that's where I lost my love. Back to the girl of many dreams with the bayou in her blood. Back to Louisiana, the state I'm fondest of. Yeah, I'm going to Louisiana, the state I'm fondest of.
Alright folks, so at the end of the show here, that last one started off with Bob Turner with local weekly news on Rimrock Records. Trusty old reliable Rimrock Records. I think there's maybe a couple on that label that I don't think are good, but they're very few and far between. Really like that one. That was from 1968, by the way. Then we had Tommy Riddle with When You Kiss Me Darling on Cactus Records from 1956. Let's see, Cactus is from Portsmouth, Virginia. Tommy Riddle and his Melody Rangers. I enjoyed that one. I thought it was pretty darn good. Then we had Bob Turner. Wait. We have Bob Turner again. It's a different Bob Turner? I actually don't know. I didn't even notice that I did that. I assume these 2 Bob Turners are different people. But this Bob Turner played 3 minus 2 Leaves Blue on E&M Recording Company from 1950, from the 1960s. Sorry, I kind of threw me for a loop. I didn't realize I played 2 names of 2 people by the same name. After that, we had George Riddle, another Riddle, because I had Tommy Riddle before, with King of Country Music. That's a tribute to Roy Acuff. George Riddle was more famously known as a member of George Jones's band from the very, very beginning. He played with Jones for quite some time and was one of the first, I think the first member of George Jones's backing band, basically. That one was from 1974. Then we had Going Back to Louisiana by Joey Farr on Farview Records. Farview and Farr are not spelled the same. I don't think he has any relation to the label. From 1973 on that one. I have one more for you. But as always, I would like to remind you to be nice to people out there, because you never know what kind of day someone else has been having. And a little bit of niceness can go a long way. And also, I'd like to say, don't be afraid to change your mind. Live and learn. New information comes your way. I know sometimes I can be stubborn, and new information comes my way. And I don't want to change my mind about something, because I already have my opinion made up. I do this more often than I'd like. But then I try to remember, this learning thing, it's made my life better. I'm going to keep doing it. So don't be afraid to live and learn. This last one is going to be by Rex North. The song is entitled Bigfoot, and it is about that Bigfoot you think it's about. On Kings International from 1978. This is kind of a novelty hit. The other side is called like Bigfoot Let Me Down or Put Me Down or something, and it's kind of like a pretty goofy. Both sides of this are pretty goofy, to be quite honest. But I like this side a little bit more than the other one. So I'm going to dedicate this one to my buddy Nick Shoulders, who I know is a Bigfoot believer out there. If you listen to the podcast episode where I interviewed him, we talked about it just a little bit towards the end. So this one goes out to Nick, who I'm also going to visit in Fayetteville next week. I'm very excited to meet some of my pandemic buddies that I friends I've made over the internet but haven't gotten to meet in real life yet. He's one of them, so that'll be fun. And so this is Frank the Drifter. You've been listening to Dollar Country, and have a good one. I will catch you next week. Rex North, Bigfoot.
You know, there's a legend of a creature that lurks in the swamps and the mountains of North America. You may not believe that he lives, but let me reassure you, he's there. It was Memorial Day weekend back in '69 when we loaded up the canoes and headed for the river. It said he stands 8 feet tall, walks like a man, but I promise you, he's much bigger. The Indians call him Sasquatch, the mountain men call him Bigfoot, but I'll just call him Mean. He came out of the trees as we hit the rapids, the biggest thing I'd ever seen. He was big, black and hairy with deep-set eyes, and he stood straight and tall. He let out a scream that curdled my blood. It was the Bigfoot call. Then with one huge hand, he picked up a rock and hurled it high in the air. I can tell you with a straight face, I've never been so scared. He looked like he stood 10 feet tall, and he must have weighed 1,000 pounds. The next thing I knew, all hell broke loose, and the water was pulling me down. When I woke up, the mountain men had me, but they didn't say a word. With knowing eyes and solemn faces, silence was all that I heard. They never found the bodies of the 3 men who were with me, and not too many people will believe what I say. But there's one thing I'm sure of. There's something in those mountains, and he's still there today.